Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And Aliens versus Predator versus Engineers, my campaign for the Alien RPG. This is a continuation of the scenario we started last week, a Newt problem. Our PCs are about to face down a bunch of Weyland-Yutani guys and then see where it takes them from there. So without further ado, here we go. Please like, subscribe, turn your notification bells on. We're up to 209 subscribers. Like to see if we can get that up. Here we go. Thanks, guys. Here, you guys, I think everyone probably knows exactly where we left off, but a very quick recap. You guys, Hicks got a secret message who Bob figured out how to decode, and it led you back to Earth, about 100 miles east of Portland, Oregon, in the hopes of finding someone named Newt that Blake Jones, aka Dwayne Hicks, apparently has got some history with, and he feels very responsible for her safety. Uh, Verhoeven agreed with that, so you guys came back to Earth and you found the house on the hill that had, wasn't that a horror movie? A house on a hill that had been damaged by weapons fire around the front of the house, and exploring it, you found it empty. You, Jake, found uh, hidden hidden subfloor in the primary bedroom, under which was an electronic hatch that out popped a young lady, probably about 15 years old. She gave Dwayne a big hug, said, "I knew you'd come," and you guys started to leave. And just then, a couple of VTOL gyro cars landed and dropped off a whole bunch of guys. Now, if you look at your map, you'll see that I have color coded those guys, just to help with any possible confusion. Though some of the colors are very close to each other. I'm kind of surprised. I'm just using the colors that Roll20 gives us, and I'm kind of surprised that they have a pink and a purple that are so close to each other. And in that top left corner, there's one guy who has no color because I ran out of color. So, but anyway, just to make that easy. Um, so since talking is a free action, um, you hear one of these guys, because you're pretty much all massed right there in the front room because you were on your way out the door. In fact, Rudy even went out the door, saw them unloading from the car, and said, "Oh, to hell with that," and ran back inside. Um, of course, Dwayne is outside because he was going around the exterior of the house, so he's out there by himself. But the one of these one of these guys shouts towards you in English. It's accented, has a has a vaguely Asian accent, but at the same time he pronounces his words very concisely. And he shouts towards the house, "Lay down your weapons and come out. Our only interest is in the cyber terrorist Rebecca Jordan."
Rebecca Jordan. Who's that?
Um, Hicks Hicks was carrying Newt, so he probably sets her down and kind of starts to push her behind him, and and he just looks at you and says, "There's no way they're getting her."
So they're talking about Newt. That's her like alias.
Yeah, he says that's Newt.
Cyber terrorist, huh?
Kind of look at her with a querying gaze.
Um, She says, I poked around in Weyland-Yutani's system a little bit. We can talk about it later. I don't know that this is the right time.
Well, that's all you had to say. Good on you.
Well, here's the thing. If we're not giving her up, we better start blasting because right now they're divided, but soon they're going to converge. And our only chance to get to this vehicle and get the hell out of here. Right now, it's an even fight against these four guys. But when their buddies get here, we're in deep shit.
Hicks takes the Hicks kicks the safety off his AR-40.
All right, I shall do the same.
He looks at Newt and says, "Get down, get behind some furniture and stay down."
You ready, Bob?
I'm ready. Get on down.
All right.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Here
That's
we go.
right. So here's what I'm going to do. Since you guys are making the decision to go ahead and strike, I'm going to let you have a free round of actions.
Yay.
I am going to I'm going to deal with Dwayne first really quickly based on what Marty told me he wanted his character to do. Oh, that's weird. The little box input value seems to be working again because I tried it this morning and it wasn't working, but now it is. Weird. All right. Of course, you guys don't really see this, but Dwayne gets a hold of. He comes to the corner of the house, gets a hold of like a downspout, and climbs up onto the roof of the garage. And I'll make that his slow action because it's not just simple movement. He's climbing. He has a fast action, which he doesn't know you guys are looking to open fire yet, so I think he uses that fast action to aim at probably the closest guy, blue guy right there, and that'll be what he does. All right, Bob, what do you want to do?
Well, Red runs with Dead, so it's a shot from a Stratzel.
Okay.
I think I should have known not to color himself red. So there's
Yeah, I mean, he's wearing the shirt.
What is it? What is it? Deadpool said, "I wear this red suit so the bad guys can't see me bleed." This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants. All right. Well, you are in the back of the room, so I'm going to require a fast action to move to the front of the room to shoot out a window or door.
Right.
So just
Doable.
yep, we'll just move you up right there. And then you want to shoot at the red guys. So go ahead and make your ranged combat attack. We are going to call that a we're going to call that medium range, which carries a -1 penalty. And take your shot. You had a success, so you do 2 damage. And the Stratsoul AR-40 is, well, you have 1 success unless you want to push it, of course. You have that option. But
Yeah, I think
sound effects are awesome.
I'm pushing.
All right, go ahead.
At 1 trace, ranged combat. -1.
Oh, 2 more successes. So you have 3 successes total. So you do 2 damage. What do you want to do with your 2 stunts?
Damage.
Alright, so 4 damage. He does have armor, which... Oh, the thing's not, it's not popping up the box for me, because it's armor piercing, so he would have only gotten 1 die, but that's okay. He had no successes. Well, just for the fun of it, Bob, you want to roll us a D66?
I shall do so.
A 24. What is that, like a busted elbow or something? Let's see here. Should I
Hope
have
it's in
my...
his primary hand too.
Oh, knocked out teeth. All right, so this guy, this red goes down with clutching at his mouth and screaming as blood is coming between his fingers. I guess you hit him right in the face. Great job, Bob.
Harsh. Love it.
I'm just gonna delete him off. I know there's a way to X him, but I'll just delete him. All right, Rudy.
I'm going to follow in Bob's footsteps.
All right.
Try to make a kill.
All right. Which one you want to shoot at?
Green.
Green. All right, go ahead.
Alright. Ranged combat. I'm firing AP rounds as well.
Right.
And there's no modifiers, right?
-1 for range. It's medium.
-1. Minus. Whoops. Excuse me. Minus. Okay.
1 success.
I would like to.
That's a lot of dice, man.
I would like to push that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, no additional successes. That's a lot of dice. All right, well, that's okay. You hit him. I'm just going to roll 1d6 because it's easy that way. No success. All right, so he takes 2 damage. Not a problem. Okay.
I should have gone first. Hold on a minute. So, for the fast action, she can do her field commander.
Oh yeah, you can. And you can still use that, and it would impact anybody else who acts after you. So.
Right. So she'll say into comms, I don't know. I'm trying to give people a bonus to their hit roll, so.
Well, yeah, everybody's in the same room with you except for Dwayne, and he doesn't have communications. So, that's fine.
Focus fire.
All right. Go ahead and make your, that's a command roll, I do believe.
I believe so.
1 success. You can push it if you want to, or you can leave the 1 success stand.
I'll leave the 1.
Okay, so it grants a bonus die. All right. Hicks. I need to find Hicks's character sheet. Where is he? That's not him. He's here somewhere. There he is. I had to find which scenario his character sheet was embedded into. I think Hicks... I think he's just going to open fire on green guy there. He gets 1 bonus die from your command because he is focus firing, and it didn't bring up the box. Well, I don't think the bonus die really matters with that roll. What do you guys think?
Good lord.
Alright, so he, Oh! He rakes...
What happens with that?
It's an impaled heart.
Oh, crap.
He rakes the guy that you just fired with, fired at with, his AR-40, and, rounds just go right through the guy's chest, and he goes down. He is out. He's gone. He's done. Hicks still has a fast action. I think Hicks is going to use his, because I believe he has that same ability. I think he has that same. Maybe I'm making that up. No, he does not. Okay, never mind. All right. I think Hicks will use his fast action just to take aim at blue guy there. And he probably tells, being that you guys have already knocked out 2 of these guys, he probably tells this guy to be rear guard. So that guy moves that way and takes aim, I think, into room number 2, just to protect you guys' ass. And I think that's everybody. So now it's actual initiative, yeah?
Initiative time.
There is a rule, by the way. Where are my initiative cards? There is a rule, by the way, that
Marty,
Yeah,
just a reminder, Dwayne and I have fast reflexes.
you do. That's right. There's a rule that I stumbled on in the book the other day, which I went, holy crap, I completely forgot about this. And it's funny because all the Alien games that I've seen played, no one has ever taken advantage of this. And there's a rule that says at the beginning of a round, friendly player characters can swap their initiative card if they want to. And it's the whole purpose of it is sometimes actions obviously make sense when they happen in a certain order. So just something to keep in mind. All right,
for sure.
Let's see here.
Didn't realize we could do that.
Yeah, it's something I completely forgot about. Jake, you are on an 8. Sorry about that. I need to open the initiative counter, don't I? It didn't go onto the turn order. Oh, did you click your icon? What's going on here? There it goes. Okay. Alright, Rudy. You have a 10 and a 6. I'm going to assume you want the 6.
Yep, as early as possible.
Yeah. Alright. So we will hit you on the 6. Let's see. Dwayne gets a 3 and a 5. So obviously we'll give him the 3. There's Dwayne. There's Dwayne. Pop open his character sheet.
Whoops, you just gave me the 3.
Oh shit. Damn it all. Sorry about that.
Take your time, Marty. It's no big deal.
Oh, it's because I was on his character sheet, but I didn't have you clicked. That's why. Or I didn't have him clicked. I had you clicked. That's what I meant. Just a lot going on. All right. And then we'll give. Oh, Hicks and his guy have a 10. That's unfortunate. Which we'll call that Hicks, the SSI guy, and Newt as well. We'll just put them all in the friendly NPC category. And then the bad guys are on a 1.
Crap.
You know I'm cheating, right? You guys know that. It's just what I do. Let's see. Initiative card 1. Submit. Alright. So let's put this in ascending order. Alright. Alright, so the Weyland-Yutani Dogcatchers. The orange guy uses a fast action to move over next to your tractor, and without giving any specifics, unless you want to make an observation roll on your turn, he is messing with something next to your tractor. Blue. Well, shit. Blue. You guys really evened the odds really quickly, didn't you?
Still working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Blue feels very exposed, I think.
You can run away.
Yeah, I think Blue is going to use he's going to use a fast action to move kind of hereabouts. And seeing that Dwayne is by himself, he is going to shoot at Dwayne. Short range, etc., etc., etc. Takes aim with his. Well, he can't take aim because he moved, but that's alright. He fires his assault rifle and he hits Dwayne for 2 damage. Now, Dwayne has no armor, but Dwayne has an ability that gives him natural armor equal to his strength. So we're just going to roll his strength. Holy shit. So the rounds bounce off Dwayne like he's freaking Superman, apparently. The dude's he's impossible to kill. Alright. These two guys. You guys hear the sound of glass shattering behind the house. And then, let's see here. He's going to... They're going to come up to here. Yellow is going to make a contact roll to see if he can get through that door. He's not very good at that, so we shall see. Actually, he's not bad. Oh, he does not manage it. So the other guy is going to say to hell with it and try to break in the door. And he is successful. So this door right here behind you in the dining room has been kicked in. The two guys are outside and you heard glass shattering from the back of the house. I would say that would let this guy, well, he took aim. He is not in Overwatch, so that's fine. Alright, so, Dwayne Dunning is next. I think Dwayne would return fire at the blue guy, wouldn't you say? Seems to make the most sense.
Yep.
So, I'm going to have him aim and fire. Fast action to aim, firing. Oh, 3 dice. Or 3 successes. So, he specifically instructed me bonus successes on ranged combat should go into damage. So he does 4 damage. It is armor piercing. This guy has got 1 solitary die. And he does not pull that off. Who wants to roll a d66 for me? Just so we can see for fun what happened to that poor guy that Dwayne just shot.
I have not been rolling well. It's all you, bub.
Cool. That's alright. Not too bad.
So Dwayne puts a round into this guy, and looks like he gets him in the leg. And as the guy goes down, clutching at his leg, you see arterial spray shooting from the wound.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not good.
Got a femoral artery, probably. We'll just delete him off the map for the time being. And that brings us to Rudy.
Yeah, I'll shoot at orange guy.
Okay. All right. So call it medium range. So that's a -1 for range, and take your shot. 1 success. You're welcome to push if you like, or you can.
I
let
will
it
indeed.
All right, go
I
ahead.
will push.
An additional success, so you've got 2. What do you want to do with your stunt?
Damage, please.
Damage. All right, so very good. You do 3 damage. He gets, because you're armor piercing, he gets 1 die, which his horrible ape suit somehow managed to absorb some of that, so he takes 2. That was your slow action. You have a fast action, or did you use your fast to aim?
I did not aim.
Okay, so you have a fast action.
Who hasn't gone yet? Everybody but me, right?
Yeah, Jake and Hicks still have to go.
Alright, I'll repeat my order from before.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make your command roll.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's wow. That's impressive. So they get 4 bonus dice. Holy crap! All right.
I'm serious this time.
That's right. I really mean it.
Really fucking mean it. Kill these guys.
All right. So that brings us to Bob. Bob, what do you want to do?
I will aim at orange and shoot.
All right. So you gain 4 bonus dice for Rudy's command. You gain 2 bonus dice for aiming and -1 for range. So it's a total of a modifier of 5 dice. That's crazy.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Let's double check the range combat. So I'd say 2 damage and 1 opponent makes panic roll.
Okay. Which with 2 damage, you probably take him out. Honestly. Oh yeah, he goes down. So he's yeah. You combine your gunfire on the guy that Rudy shot and rake some assault rifle rounds across him, and he goes down. So he is. Oh shoot! I just I know why. Because that was the guy I assigned. That's okay. They're on a 1. We know it. Right. So that brings us to Hicks. I think Hicks calls to Newt. Says, Newt, we are leaving, and holds his hand out. She joins him, and they use a fast action to go outside, and then a second fast action to run for the tractor.
Make sure they booby trap it.
Yeah, and his guy. I don't think his guy leaves you. He's on rear guard, so he moves to the other side of the room and has his weapon trained on an overwatch back behind you guys. So then it gets to the top of the round, which are the Weyland-Yutani guys at number 1. These, hey, I mean, honestly, they all just kind of file in with a fast action, which will trigger his overwatch. We'll just say at the clear guy, the guy who has no color. He's colorless. Let's see. We're SSI security personnel. He had aimed a while back too. And what was your? Never mind. Losing my mind here. Range combat. That is going to be a short range attack roll. It didn't bring up the modifier, so I'll just roll 2d6. No additional successes. So he does 2 damage to this guy who gets 1 armor die. And alright, so he takes 2 damage. And then they get to attack. Really big should be right there. I think the guy who just got shot is going to shoot back at the SSI guy. Seems to make the most sense to me, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Let the SSI guy take the damage.
Yeah, don't shoot at us. Don't shoot at us. Not in the face. Not in the face.
I don't know this guy.
That's right. Wow. Alright, and yellow will combine fire and hits for 3 damage. SSI does have armor. Oh, wow. These 2 dog catchers come in and open fire on the guy who just shot at them, and it's like that scene in Pulp Fiction for a moment. Like a whole bunch of rounds go around him, nothing hits. Though a couple rounds do hit him, but they just ricochet off his armor. He's okay. He's in good shape. Pink and purple, on the other hand, I don't think they have a line of sight on him. Just looking at the map and the way the doorway is oriented. So I'm going to roll 2d4. Even they shoot at Bob, odd they shoot at Rudy. Alright, one shoots at each. So, Bob, you ready?
No?
No. Wow. He hits you with a total of 4 damage. Are you wearing any armor at all? I don't think you are.
Yep. Right, please.
Alright. How much health do you have?
I've got 4 armor and 3 health.
You have 4 armor? Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's not armor, but piercing. So go ahead and roll your armor.
Don't leave the house without the vest.
Oh,
Doesn't matter, apparently.
no dice. Would you please roll a d66, Bob? Come on, Jake. I'm rooting for you. A 52. Okay. So he hits you with weapons fire. It rakes across. Roll a die. Even left, odd is right. I don't care what kind of die. I just need an even or odd. All right. So the weapons fire. It fires across your left arm, and you start spurting blood. You have a severed artery in your left arm, so you cannot use your left arm. Okay. Which means you're not going to be able to use the assault rifle because you need 2 hands to hold it. You are going to bleed out in 1 turn if you do not get medical attention. Of course, 1 turn's 10 minutes, so you've got a few minutes. But that's where you're at. But you are broken, so you can only speak and crawl. And then the other guy is going to shoot at Rudy. He hits Rudy for 2 damage. Rudy, do you have any armor?
I believe I said I was not wearing my
That's true.
armor.
Oh, and Jake, not that I guess it really matters. Your stress goes up 1 because you took damage. Rudy, you take 2 damage. Your stress goes up 1. What's your health, Rudy?
Well, I have no pre-existing damage. What's my total health? I don't know.
It's
not
equal
on
to
my
your
sheet.
strength.
Oh, then it would be 2.
Okay, you don't have the tough talent, do you?
No.
Alright, so you are broken also, but being broken as a synthetic is a little different than being broken as a human. The critical hit chart on a synthetic is a single d6, so roll 1d6, please. A 4. Okay. Your head has been dislocated. It is.
Ouch!
Yeah. It is still attached. Okay. However, it is any fast action is now a slow action. Okay, so movement, for example, is a slow action. Yeah. And both of you need to gain an additional point of stress because seeing a friendly character broken is a point of stress as well. Alright, and that's going to bring us to Dwayne Dunning. Because he's first amongst the PCs. So I think Dwayne is going to against Marty VP's wishes, because I don't think Marty VP's plans necessarily assumed that it would happen this way, this quickly. I think Dwayne's going to make a mobility roll to jump off the roof and get back down on the ground. Which he does no problem. And then he's gonna hot-foot it over to this side, you know, to the front door where you guys are. That's gonna be his action. Rudy, you are up. Because all your fast actions become a slow action, you can basically do one thing. What would that be?
Well, can she grab Jake and start going?
You can pick him up. That would be your action.
All right, so... Okay, so I'm just trying to figure this out. So she could, like, grab him, but she can't move with him.
Correct, because of your head dislocation and all fast actions are now slow actions. As a result, you've basically only got one action per turn now, or per round. So you could shoot at a guy, but that would be it. You could pick up Jake, but that would be it. You could run one zone, but that would be it. You basically have one action.
I think she wants to protect her crew.
Okay.
So she'll turn around and start firing.
Okay. All right. Which one do you want to shoot at?
That motherfucker right there in the door.
All right. All right. Go ahead and take your shot. It's short range, so there's no modifiers of any kind. Go right ahead. All right. You have 2 successes, but you have a panic, so I need my special Rudy panic chart. Shoot, I forgot all about the special Rudy panic chart. Give me 1 second here. I gotta figure out where I put it. I thought it was right here. There it is. Would you please roll a d6? A 6.
Uh-oh. It's not going well.
Okay. Your brain suddenly starts there's a warning or an error going off inside your synthetic brain, and it just says BSOD error. You're not sure what you can do, if you can do anything to fix this. There's certainly nothing you can do about it right now, but it basically means that at any given moment you could shut down for 5 to 10 minutes. But you did hit, so you did 2 damage. You have a stunt, which you have 1 stunt you can use.
Extra damage, please.
Extra damage. So 3 damage. It's an AP round. That gives him 1 armor die. No good. He goes down. Also, because you did panic, your weapon is now unloaded. You know, it's empty.
Okay.
All right. That brings us to Jake. Jake, unfortunately, all you can do is crawl and speak. What would you like to do?
Can I crawl out this window?
Yeah, I'll let you do that. Absolutely. I'll let you do that. Put you right here on the other side of the wall.
Yep.
Yep, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Blake, this brings us to Blake and the SSI guy and Newt. Blake realizing that shit has gone south behind him, or I should say Hicks realizing shit has gone south behind him, shouts at Newt to take cover. That's Freed's just speaking. He's going to use a fast action to move back towards the house. That should give him line of sight on Pink, who he's going to shoot at. And ranged combat. Let's see. That's going to be medium range though. -1 die. It didn't. I'll just take off the last die. What was it? It's a miss anyway. So he gets 3 successes. He'll pour that into damage against Pink, which is a grand total of 4 armor piercing damage. Pink's armor is no good. He goes down. And SSI is going to move to right there so that he can see yellow, and he's going to open fire on yellow. Attack. Short range, so there's no... Oh, he misses. Alright, no good. No dice, no dice. I think that gets us to the beginning of the round. Or actually, I do guess I need to have Newt do something. Newt's going to make an observation roll. Oh, wow. Alright. Anyone who's paying attention sees...
Nailed it.
Yeah, right? Sees Newt come over to the side of your tractor, and she's looking at something, and then she, then I think she dives into the tractor. So she's good there. All right, top of the round brings us to the Weyland-Yutani guys. They're probably suddenly realizing that they're in some deep shit. He comes back through the door, as does he, and they activate their ID-23 incinerators.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, because the NSG assault rifle has a flame unit as the underbarrel instead of like a grenade launcher like the M41.
No.
Yellow, I think, fires his flame unit right at the SSI guy, kind of through the doorways because he can still see him. Weyland-Yutani Dogcatcher. Oh, and he misses. Alright, whereas this guy, purple, he is actually just firing it into this room as a general rule. So all of a sudden, the dining room is just bursting into flames. And that gets us to Dwayne Dunning. Dwayne's going to use a fast action to move here, and he is going to shoot his hand cannon at Yellow.
Go get him, Dwayne. We have two guys named Dwayne now, right?
Yeah, though we're trying to make a point of calling Hicks.
Okay.
If at all possible. Alright, Dwayne fires his hand cannon. It is medium range. That should give him a -1. This is so weird. It's pulling... You know the input box for modifiers? It's pulling up on Dwayne's sheet, but it's not pulling up on the Hicks sheet or the Weyland-Yutani guys or the SSI guys. There's got to be a setting somewhere. I don't know what it is, but... Dwayne hits. I think Dwayne pushes. And actually, I should have gave him a point of stress for seeing Bob broken, but I didn't do it. Alright, so he gets 2 successes, which is 3 damage on Yellow. So you hear Dwayne's handgun go off. And that guy is pretty heavily wounded. Alright, and brings us to Rudy. What do you want to do, Rudy?
I guess she'll leave. She's pretty fucked up.
Yep. Alright, so all your actions are slow actions, so 1 movement gets you outside the house. And that gets us to Jake, who is crawling for the tractor, I assume? Alright, so we'll let you move 1 square. Hicks and the SSI guy. SSI guy's got no line of fire, so he's going to use his movements to get out. Hicks moves here as a fast action, tells his SSI guy to pick up Dr. Sinclair, and then shoots at Yellow.
Hicks, get him! Get him!
That would be medium range, so that's a -1. It didn't, so we'll just take 1 die off the end. It's okay. He gets 2 successes, so that'll be 3 damage armor piercing, which means this dude's armor doesn't matter. He goes down in a hail of bullets. All right. All right. Top of the round. Purple goes running out, and you guys probably at this point really don't know where purple is. Gets us to Dwayne. I think Dwayne will just. It's basically the same zone. I think Dwayne will pick up Jake. Let's have Dwayne make a stamina roll. Because he's picking up a guy and running with him. Seems to make sense to me.
Nails it.
Yeah, nails it. Alright, so he picks up Jake.
He does a lot of cardio.
Yeah, he really does. And carries Jake over to the tractor. Bringing us to Rudy. Rudy, you want to use your action to move to the tractor?
Yes.
Alright. And I think that brings Blake and the Dwayne and Hicks and the SSI guy back towards the tractor, probably moving in reverse with their guns out, watching behind them in Overwatch. And that, I think that ends combat as you guys all start to climb into the tractor.
God, that was hairy and fun.
Yeah, it was. Rudy's head is like tilted off to the side. Obviously, all her joints are all in her neck are all messed up, probably from the bullet holes. You've got that white stuff dripping out of you. Whereas poor Bob in Dwayne's arms, he is gushing blood from a bullet wound in his left arm. Somebody is going to need to make a medical aid roll to stabilize him.
I can do that.
Yep. Now, one thing I'll let you retcon because it's something that we probably forgot about, and it's because this doesn't come up that often. In order to stabilize someone who has a critical injury and is going to die, you actually need a surgical kit, which you guys brought your medical kit with you. Which a medical kit is just a consumable that gives you 2 dice, but you didn't bring the surgical kit. But I'm going to retcon that to say you would have brought that because it just makes sense, right?
Thank you.
So it dawned on me when we got off last time. So you to stabilize him may make a medical aid roll, and if you want to burn your medical kit as well, that would be plus 2 dice.
I would definitely like that, but as we're loading into the vehicle and I'm waiting for my turn, I will take a nap or leave to get rid of this stress.
That works. That's perfectly
good. I have too much stress to do anything effective. And if I have another action at some point that's free, I will tell Hicks, I may go offline at any moment.
All right. Hicks,
so implying that he should take charge.
Hicks
and
says, I've got it under control. We got to get back to the ship as quick as we can.
When we, let's get let's get Jake in the back, and I will go to work on him.
All right.
So that would be a medical aid, and you said plus 2.
Plus 2 for using the medical kit. Very good. You only need 1 success to stabilize someone, and when someone is critically injured and is broken, a stabilization roll bonus successes automatically go to health regain. So Jake, you're at 1 health point. And Jake, would you please roll a d6 for me? A 2. Okay. So fortunately, either because of Rudy's innate abilities with medical aid, either that or perhaps her complex files that she doesn't want to. She has detailed files on human anatomy, makes her a more effective killer. Sorry. But or either that or because she treated it so quickly, you will actually be healed in 2 days. 2 days out of cryo, and you will have the use of your left arm again.
Sounds good.
All right.
I will then reload
Okay.
and try to stem my own loss of fluid.
Yeah. I think Hicks. Everyone loaded up. Hicks jumps behind the wheel of the tractor and gets it started up. He checks to make sure Newt is okay, and with a spinning of it's a 6x6 tractor, or it's an 8x8 tractor, isn't it? 8-wheel drive. With 8-wheel drive, I doubt you can really spin wheels. But he gets the tractor turned around and just starts tearing down the road, because you guys don't know where the last Weyland-Yutani guy was, and I think Hicks is operating under the belief that he'd have called for backup. So you guys are getting the hell out of Dodge. Making it back to the ship, which you guys are operating under Lollipop right now, aren't you? SS Lollipop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making it back to Lollipop, it does not seem that you guys were followed at any point. Hicks, I would say at one point, Hicks pulls once you guys have been driving for a little while and it doesn't seem like there's anybody following you, Hicks would pull the tractor over, and it looks like they, it looks like that the Weyland-Yutani guy who was messing with the tractor was starting to mount an explosive onto the side of it, but he never got the opportunity to connect detonators or anything along those lines. So Hicks just kind of scrapes that shit off, and you guys continue on. So why don't we do this really quickly? Because I'm on my third cup of coffee, and we've been in for an hour. Hopefully Marty will show up any minute. Why don't we take a quick 3-minute break? Because I need to, frankly, and we'll be right back.
No problem. BRB. I'm back.
Oh, back as well.
All right, good. Um, give me one moment here.
My wife bought these chocolates the other day, and they taste exactly like Thin Mints, the Girl Scout cookies. Thin Mints. Ah, it's terrible. Do you have Girl Scouts in New Zealand, Bob? Is that a
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
Do they do annual cookie like sales drive type thing?
Yeah. It's just a lot less and a lot fewer than America, but they're here.
Well,
Do they have Thin Mints?
I don't know.
Do yourself a favor. Don't ever eat those.
yeah, it's the truth. I- It's funny how you say a lot less than America, and all that's going through my head is everywhere is a lot less than America. We're nothing if not extreme and overindulgent.
True. Very true. But also, you've got the numbers.
It's true.
Yeah, we have
What
a lot of people.
What's the population of New Zealand?
I knew you were going to ask me that when I said that. Uh,
Probably not very
I
high.
don't remember.
Well, Canada's is 38 million.
yeah, U.S. is 330,
Yeah,
give or
we're like
take.
300 million more.
For some reason, 6 mil comes to mind, but
Oh well,
Let's ask our friend Google.
yeah, that's right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 5.1 mil 2022.
Oh wow.
I think Chicago, the city of which where I live, is a suburb of. That was a horrible sentence. I hope I never say it again. Um, I think we're over 3 mil now. If that gives you an idea of how overcrowded shit can be in American cities.
Yep.
yeah, it's funny though because you get outside of the mega cities, and it's
Yeah,
a
nothing
lot
for
of
days,
empty
right?
space. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about this with somebody. I've driven across the country a couple times, and yeah, there's stretches where it feels like you can go days without seeing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's our overall population density is relatively low. Um, so come on, dude, I'm getting so many spam calls on my freaking phone. It's killing me. Um,
No call list was do something, but I don't really think it does anything.
no, no, not at all, not at all. So, you guys are on the you're on the road back to Portland and your ship. I think Hicks would look at you, Rudy, and say we should probably report into the ship that they should be ready to take off as soon as we get in. I don't think we want to stick around
I will nod, but not vigorously.
here. oh, there he is.
Yay!
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Welcome. Good morning.
Yep.
Who are we missing?
Missing Jim this morning.
Hmm.
Your character Dwayne was a complete badass just now.
I gave detailed instructions.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were
You
talking about that.
we pretty much got to you using one or two of those bullet points, and that was about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, quick recap for you. The Weyland-Yutani guys wanted they called out for you guys to turn over the cyber terrorist Rebecca Jordan. At which point Hicks told the group, "There's no way I'm turning her over." And Bob asked, or I should say, Jake Sinclair asked cyber terrorist, and she said that she was poking around in the Weyland-Yutani network a little bit. So the group decided to fight it out, and so I gave everyone free actions for that. at which point you climbed on the roof.
Okay.
But you guys took the Weyland-Yutani guys in front of you down pretty quickly. Like, I mean, after a round and a half or so, there was like no one left to shoot at pretty much. So Hicks and Newt went running for the tractor. Then the guys who came in the rear broke through, and Bob and, or I should say, Jake and Rudy got pretty shot up.
When you say broke through, they went in the back of the house?
Yeah, they came through the back of the house. Jake was shot up pretty badly, artery in his left arm.
Oh,
But fortunately, Rudy has stabilized him, and he's going to be okay in a few days. Rudy took a pretty nasty shot that dislocated her head. That's going to require some.
that's going to leave a mark.
That's going to require, just so you guys are aware of the rules regarding fixing synthetics, it's going to require a shift of work and a heavy machinery and a comtech role to repair her. So at this point, you guys actually took out every single Weyland-Yutani guy except for one. When it got down to the last two, they backed out of the house and started using their incinerators to set the house on fire. And one of them went out the back of the house. You don't know where he went, but you guys got away. And you're on your way back to the ship. You've radioed in, or Hicks radioed in to Verhoeven and everybody who's on board the ship to have the ship ready for takeoff as soon as you guys arrive. And,
So what did Dwayne do this whole time?
well, Dwayne took out one of the guys in front of you.
Yeah, he first climbed up on top of the garage
Yep.
and took aim from there.
Yep.
All right.
And he got some shots off and did some damage with his hand cannon. And then when all the guys were dead in front of you, I just had him come back down off the roof because it looked like everybody was running for the tractor. And you actually had come around. You'd actually come around the side of the map, and because there were two Weyland-Yutani guys left that backed out and were using their flamethrowers, and one of them was right there. And between you and Hicks, you guys took one of them out. Oh, also, you took a full-on assault rifle hit for 3 damage. And I rolled that stupid talent of yours, and you got 3 successes.
So the bullets bounced off?
Yeah, it's like shooting
my
at-
bear skin?
It's like
They
shooting
hit
at
his pecs, but you
Superman.
were flexing at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, ping, ping, ping. Just fell on the ground, flattened like coins.
Dwayne's going to be a lot harder to kill than I gave him credit for, isn't he?
Man. All right.
Yeah.
So we're in the tractor hauling ass?
Yeah,
Okay.
heading back. No signs of being followed.
Why would they?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a ship to come out of the clouds after us.
Well, that's how they would do it. These guys, the 2 guys, was it 2 or 1 guy? 1 guy?
One guy got away.
Yeah, he's going to radio in. It was an ambush, and we'll see what they send.
Oh, by the way, I told Hicks, but I could shut down at any moment. I'm experiencing a BSOD.
Okay.
I'm having errors at the kernel level. I could shut. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, dad jokes.
And
Who's
and,
driving?
I guess Hicks is driving, probably.
Okay.
And honestly, Rudy, you don't know if that's reparable. Oftentimes, when androids get this fault, they're taken out of service. So that's something to keep in mind.
Well, in her heart, she feels like she's on borrowed time anyway.
Yeah. And in terms of the way the rules work on that, once per shift, you will shut down for 1 turn. So that can happen at any time. It can happen when you choose it to happen. That's fine. Or it can happen when I choose it to happen, which is fine too. All right. conversations to be had on the way back to the ship?
I think Nick is pretty much unconscious, trying not to bleed out.
All right, that works.
Yeah, we're just squirting liquid all over the back here.
Ew.
Yeah, mine
Well-
is white and sticky too.
I have lots of questions for Hicks. Why does Weyland want this girl?
Hicks, he kind of balls his chin up a little bit, grits his teeth slightly, and then he looks over at Newt while he's driving and says, "Well, that's a good question. Newt, they called you a cyber terrorist. What have you been up to?" And she kind of looks down at her hands and says, "Well, I was looking around. I broke into their network." And she looks up at Hicks and says, "Hicks, I found her." And
Found who?
at that, I think Hicks slams both feet on the brakes, and the tractor comes to a squealing halt. And he pulls it off on the side of the road, turns towards her and towards Newt and says, "What are you talking about?" And she repeats it. She says, "I found her. Ripley's alive."
Can you please wait till we get into the ship before you start with your jabbering? I'm bleeding out here, and we've got a VTOL probably on our ass. It's not the movies, guys.
Yeah, this isn't some role-playing game where you can just write up a new character if you die, okay? Only get one shot at this. Let's go.
Sorry. All
That
right.
was funny.
Hicks turns back towards the wheel and puts the tractor back in drive, pulls back on the road, and starts driving again.
So out of game, real quick. There's no way Dwayne knows who Ripley is, right? Are there any rumors or stuff that float around or am I just in the dark?
Well, there's two things about that. Number one, in your meeting with Verhoeven and Rose and everybody before you guys left Grendel,
Right.
she showed a picture of a juggernaut ship that was on kind of a rocky landscape.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she made the comment that that the ship Nostromo and someone by the name of Ellen Ripley found that ship.
Right. So
So you've heard the name there, and then the next question is: has Dwayne read Space Beast by David Morse?
no.
Okay. So that would be a question actually for all of you, if any of you have read Space Beast by David Morse. Because if you have, then you know that according to that, Ripley was involved fighting a space dragon on Fury 161.
Probably
All right.
not.
So other than the reference in the meeting, which I remember we had that reference in the meeting, really Dwayne doesn't know Dwayne doesn't know the significance of Ripley. Okay, so we can go back in the game because now I'll ask, who is this Ripley chick and why is it so important that you found her?
Dwayne, or I should say not Dwayne, but I should say Hicks answers. Even though you're both Dwayne, you're Dwayne, he's Hicks. I'm Chaos, he's Mayhem. Uh, uh, Hicks Hicks says she was with my platoon as a consultant when we landed on a planet called LV-426. There was a colony there that had gone dark. LV-426 was visited by her ship 50 or 60 years before.
That was the Nostromo reference.
That was Nostromo, and their entire crew was killed by one of these xenomorphs. XX121 Weyland-Yutani calls them. So the colony was called Hadley's Hope. It was a UA Weyland-Yutani joint colony, and they had gone dark. When we got there, the whole colony was missing. There were signs of small arms fire. They made some sort of last stand in their command section of their colony. We ended up finding them all. They were almost all of them dead in a hive, a xenomorph hive in the atmospheric processor. My entire platoon was wiped out. I was the only survivor. Me, Ellen Ripley, and Newt here.
Don't forget the cat.
Damn.
Newt kind of turns and looks at all of you and says, I was taken by the xenomorphs, and Ellen Ripley came back for me. She saved me. And I know where she is. She looks at Dwayne and says, Dwayne, we've got to go. We've got to find her. We've got to go get her. She says, we can't leave Ripley out there. And Dwayne doesn't say much, or Hicks doesn't say much, I should say. He just kind of nods slightly as he watches the road.
If we get this Ripley chick, can we really if we have her with us, can we put the screws to Weyu? Is there something she knows or something she has that will screw them? Or do they have her? Newt, is it Weyu that has her?
Newt says, Weyu has her. I don't know exactly where. I just have a string of numbers. And she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a scrap piece of paper. Looks like it was torn off of something else. And it's a string of 4 numbers separated by dots. It's like 26.142.371.21. And she just holds it up to show all of you guys, and she says, this is where Ripley is, wherever this is.
Well, are those possibly coordinates in space someplace? Or is it an address to a computer site? Or anyway, would our pilot would know if those look like coordinates in space?
You know, I think you're all spacefaring enough to know that it could easily be either of those options. It could be a network address, or it could be galactic coordinates.
All right.
But what about if we punch these numbers into Mother and see what comes up?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
That would be the first thing to do. Let the AI do the work. Good suggestion, Jake, even though you're bleeding out.
Oh, he's stabilized.
Yeah.
He's not
maybe it's the second thing to do. First thing to do is get me and him in a cryopod and get some help.
Look at my arm. I'm still bleeding out.
Well, I'm fluid here.
Big baby. I bet I took as many hits as you did.
No, your pecs just deflected the hits. Pec armor.
Man of
Didn't
Steel.
work out.
All right, we're making progress. Eventually, we start getting to the city, right? Was it Portland?
Yeah, it was Portland.
So we can't drive like maniacs through Portland, but we still have to get these guys back.
Yeah, yeah, and fortunately, your tractor sustained no damage whatsoever. That might raise eyebrows, obviously. Of course, then again, maybe not. Maybe inner city Portland is half war zone. I don't know.
They tried to put a explosive device on it during the firefight.
They did,
Marty, and then we
Oh,
killed the guy while he was doing it. So he didn't get to finish.
yeah. And Dwayne Hicks, I should say, just scraped it off the tractor. As you guys are.
I have a question though.
Oh, go ahead.
Dr. Khan, that doctor, is that medical or is that scientific? Is that a PhD?
She is multiple.
Multiple. Okay, so theoretically, if we can get Jake back to the ship where the doctor, she can work on him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Plus, we have an auto dock in the ship.
And you have an auto dock. And Rudy did the important work of stabilizing him. So at this point, it's just a question of him taking some time to heal.
Okay.
Yeah, Rudy's the one who needs
work.
Real work. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. As you guys are coming close, you're going through Portland. You're coming up on the spaceport. Rose Whitehill's voice comes over comms, and she says, Hicks, how far are you guys away? You know, Hicks probably checks the GPS and says 10, 15 minutes. And she says, all right, well, pick it up. Get here as quickly as you can. There's some activity. There's a bunch of Wayu comms traffic going on. I don't think we can afford to stay here much longer. And as you guys,
this is gonna be a quick escape from Tatooine.
Yeah, that's right. As you guys make it to the spaceport, and you go to you drive around to the rear entrance that allows the tractors and freight haulers and whatnot in and out access to the ships. You are actually stopped at the gate. Of course, they know that your tractor is associated with the lollipop because you guys already came through once, but there is actually a colonial marshal at the gate, and you guys are, like I said, you guys are stopped, and one of the port workers says through the window to Hicks, I'm sorry about this. You guys have to stop for a quick inspection with the marshal. Hicks looks back, what for? And he goes, look, man, I'm just a guy with a clipboard. I don't know. But if you'll pull through and just pull over to the side, the marshal will be with you in a moment. And as you guys kind of look through the windshield, you see off to the side there's several other trucks. One, like I said, flatbed freight hauler, another tractor, and probably a VTOL gyro car. And you see people standing outside their vehicles, just waiting impatiently, tapping foot, that type of thing. As a colonial marshal and a couple of deputies seem to be talking to them one at a time.
Hicks, we're pretty confident we can't have a bunch of guys asking questions when we have blood and other juices all over the place.
Juices, that's terrible.
I think we just make a go for it. Why don't you pull through and then pull over like you're going to go through the inspection and then gun it and go for the ship? What do you think? What do you guys think?
It's the way for them to prevent us from lifting up.
Not really. They could, they can certainly attempt to intercept you guys with, some sort of spacecraft, customs craft, or even if there's any USCMC on call, that type of thing. They could certainly try to stop you.
My thoughts are
But
this is Earth. I'm sure if there's a place that's going to have the capabilities to interdict criminals, it's going to be Earth.
yeah, I think that's.
I'm sure they have a plan for exactly how to deal with exactly this sort of thing.
So, do we think we can talk our way out of this?
Quick, wrap a scarf around my neck to see if we can't persuade our way out of this.
Here, Dwayne, just wrap your arm around me and hold my head upright the whole time.
Wrap one hand around my neck. And when he comes over here, say, I already told you once.
So are they looking for Newt? Do we think they're looking for Newt?
You're not sure.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can... I mean, we're in a tractor. Is there any way we can hide Newt?
Throw a tarp over her or something.
Disguise her? Or hide her in plain sight. Is there a way to hide her in plain sight?
I mean, I think you guys could probably, from the standpoint of safe driving, you wouldn't necessarily throw someone in the cargo area, but in this instance, you could do something like that. Have her hide her under the equipment, hide her under the assault rifles and armor and stuff that's back there.
I thought I remembered Hicks bringing one of his guys with us.
He did. Yeah, he's with you guys.
So he's with us.
Yeah, he also took a straight-on assault rifle round and found, but he actually had real armor on.
Yeah, but that's going to be the issue is if they make us get out to talk to us, he's wearing armor. And
well, we're also packing
all kinds of weaponry in the cargo bay.
Shit. But what choice do we have? I mean, we can see what happens. Maybe we can talk our way out of it. If we don't, then we're back to square one anyway.
Armor is really easy to explain away as long as it's legal. Anything from use PMC on practice or bodyguard or anything like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be uncommon for an independent ship to have a security officer or two that might be well armed and armored. I don't get me wrong, it might raise eyebrows, but that would be something that I don't think you would consider to be too hard to talk around. It's really more if they start really poking around and see the wounded personnel, but maybe you don't know exactly what they want with you yet. So,
all right, who's got the who can do Jedi mind tricks? Who's got the who's got manipulation dice? Is that you, Rudy?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I'll be able to do it, but I've got a pretty good shot.
All right. Well.
All right. So you direct Hicks to
I am attempting to hide as much of this neck shit as I can.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Make a manipulation roll for that would be the best way I'd put it. And then you guys want Newt to try to hide in the back behind all the equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just gonna make note of those two successes, Rudy, and we'll see where that goes. So I guess I'll have Newt make a mobility roll, I think. Oh, wow. So Newt,
agile little minx, ain't she?
Yeah, she's not very big. Of course, she's about 15, but she's a relatively petite young lady, probably barely 5 foot tall, and she just kind of squeezes and worms her way back there amidst, the random surgical kit and just the other stuff that you guys have back in there. Kind of wedges up underneath the back seat, and it's it's almost like if you've ever seen that ancient Earth movie known as E.T., it's almost like she's just hiding in plain sight. Um, so you guys pull off to the side. Um, a deputy comes your way. The marshal has cleared the flatbed hauler, and he's gotten in his vehicle and he's driving off. And now he's talking. He's talking to two people in flight suits in a two-person VTOL car. The deputy comes over to you guys, and he taps on Hicks's window. Hicks drops it, and the deputy says, "Your ship's registration?" Hicks says, "SS Lollipop." And deputy goes, "All right, and if you would just wait here, please. The marshal will be over in just a moment to speak with you." Anybody have anything they want to say or add, or just let him go about his thing?
I think we should let him go about his thing.
Okay. All right. Good enough. All right. So after a moment, he moves on. Another vehicle has come into the shipyard, into the starport, and he moves on to talk to that individual. I'm going to make. Actually, who wants to roll a d6 for me?
I think Dwayne hasn't rolled yet.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm afraid to, but.
Oh, you have got to be shitting me. You rolled a 1. You rolled a 1. Are you kidding me?
I don't know if that's good or bad.
It'd be good for us.
Well, I've got a list of there's a reason I asked for the die roll. So, as you guys are waiting, who is watching the colonial marshal as he talks to the two people in the VTOL gyro car?
I think we're all probably watching him.
All right. Oh, and you guys have had a safe trip back, so you can kick all your stress. And if you took any damage, your health is back to normal. Of course, you still have your criticals, but your health points are fine.
But Rudy should be paying close attention because Rudy's the one who has to interact with the marshal when they come.
So make an observation roll, whoever is watching.
Wow.
Wow. Look at you, Rudy. So,
any reason for any of the rest of us to do anything?
Probably not.
With 2 successes.
So, Rudy, you're watching, and you're watching the body language and the way they're speaking, and you can tell that one of the two guys in flight suits are getting increasingly nervous, perhaps, or anxious. You're just watching the body language. There's a lot of quick movements and some jittery nervousness is the best way to put it. Back in the early 21st century, he's acting like a kid you would give a fidget spinner back in the early 21st century. Meanwhile, the other guy is doing all the talking, but you're just watching as the one is getting increasingly nervous. The marshal seems to be pressing at something, and doesn't seem to be getting the answers that he wants.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do I get the sense that this has anything to do with us, or this is their own?
Um,
Like, is he getting nervous and like his eyes are darting over here constantly, like they're
no,
talking about us,
he's
or this
definitely
is their
not
own
looking at you
thing?
guys. Yeah.
Okay, so it's their own drama that's happening right
It's
now.
their own drama that's happening. Um, and then after about 30 or 45 seconds, the very anxious individual suddenly grabs a hold of his shipmate who's talking to the marshal and pushes him into the marshal, and the two go falling down. And then he jumps in the gyro car and starts to lift off. Hicks looks back at all of you and says, do we want to wait this out or do we want to go for it? The marshal stands up. He's shouting into a radio, and you're seeing his deputies come together, and they're running for a gyro car, and yeah, there's all this sudden activity going. One of the deputies, as he goes running by, he kind of points at everybody who's still in line waiting, and points at one of the clipboarded spaceport workers and says, "Make sure none of them go anywhere." And they're chasing after this guy who's now lifting off in his VTOL car.
So the deputies and the marshal have taken off?
Yeah, they're chasing after this guy.
I say we ought to get out of here.
I'm with Marty VP on this one. Get out of here? Oh, okay.
Let's go. Let's go to our ship, man.
All right.
We don't want to get shot.
Hicks shrugs, puts the vehicle in gear, and heads straight for the lollipop. One of the spaceport workers is like, "Hey, wait, what?
All right, so I want to do something.
Okay.
I got $40 in my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw $40 out the window at the guy who's yelling, "Wait, stop."
Okay. Wait, stop, come back.
So I'm just gonna flip the $40 out the window.
Yeah, you kind of see him sigh when he realizes that you guys like his hands are up in the air with a clipboard in one hand, a pen in the other, like, what the hell, as you guys are pulling off. Then Dwayne flips the $40 out the window, and he just shrugs and reaches down, starts to pick up the money before it blows away.
I guess that guy was the droid they were looking for. Oh, man. All right, so we're heading to the ship.
Yeah.
Hicks, you should call into the ship and tell them that we don't want to hang around very long. We want to get out as soon as we pull into the ship.
Yeah, Tansy, your pilot, comes off comms, and it comes over comms and says, yeah, we're all warmed up. We're ready to go as soon as you're aboard, and I'm getting clearance from the tower now. Tower is asking me if we submitted to search by Colonial Marshals.
Oh, you betcha.
She said, "Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. I've already told him that. So get on board."
It's not our fault they didn't pay any attention to us, but we submitted. We got in line.
You did submit to it. It just never got that far. So yeah, just I created a quick random D6 chart of different things that could possibly happen with the people in front of you, and
okay.
I was going to have you roll a second time, but on a 1, it was that one of these individuals was either a wanted criminal or something along those lines, and was going to make a break for it. So you guys your luck never ceases to amaze me. I mean, in that fight, the bad guys had a 1 on the initiative, and you guys still all got out alive. It's amazing.
Wow, they had a 1.
Oh yeah, Yeah, they pulled the one. All right, so we'll just move back to the star map for lack of anywhere else to be. So you guys, Hicks pulls you guys up. The vehicle bay doors open. He pulls in, and locks the tractor in. Yeah. So you guys are on board ship.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Closing up the cargo doors. Let me assist Jake. Is there? You said Jake is stable, so mostly Jake just needs rest and recuperation.
Correct. He just needs 2 days of basically doing nothing.
Okay. All right, Rudy, do you need any help? I mean, I know we've got some stuff to do, but do you need help? Where should we take Rudy to do this work?
The auto dock, maybe, for starters.
Well, you're a synthetic, though.
Yeah, you could go to medical. The auto dock wouldn't really be able to do anything.
No,
it's a
mind.
heavy machinery and a comtech role.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can do the heavy machinery part, and if we need Jake to be up to it. Jake is our comtech person, really, right?
Yep.
Jake's got the million comtech dice. So
he's got the big brain.
So the question is, how long? What has to happen for Jake to be up to working on Rudy?
Fortunately, comtech is mostly a mental thing. He really just can't do anything physically strenuous and heal, so he can make a comtech roll.
All right, so basically, he does the comtech crap, and I'm doing the mechanical stuff, so he can talk me through all the stuff that I don't understand.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But my arm, I'm bleeding out. I need medical.
Shut up, you big baby. You're just looking for some painkillers.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we don't want you to get addicted.
Man.
We'll
get you some aspirin.
Lightweight stuff. All right, so Hicks probably goes off with Newt to try to find her something real to eat. She's been living down in that crawl space. Apparently, she would have explained this on the ride back. Underneath the house is basically a bomb shelter, and it was well stocked with MREs and that type of thing. But she'd been down there for a few weeks.
Eating protein bars and shit.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. All right.
And he would introduce her to Verhoeven and the gang and all that as Tansy takes off, and as she breaks out of the atmosphere, I think she would call over the comms and say, Captain Rudat, where am I taking this boat?
Well, you can start by just getting us into orbit while we figure that out.
All right. Well, I'm getting that done now. Just let me know where you want me to set course for.
We've got to feed some information into Mother. Right,
yeah,
guys?
But I don't suggest we hang around in orbit, though.
No, I mean, I'd like to go just wherever at this point, but I don't want to go in the total opposite direction. How long will it take to get Mother's take on these?
I don't think it would take long at all. I think.
Well, let's see what she says then.
All right. Yeah, or Apollo rather.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? You want to get that all worked out, and then we'll head on our way, and then before we go into cryo, we'll do our shift of work on you, Rudy. Is that how you want to do it?
I think that sounds like a plan. Get us out of here first, and then.
Okay.
All right.
So we can go ahead and break orbit in sublight speed and just start getting away from Earth and any entanglements. And then when we're ready, we can jump to FTL, and then we'll go to work on you.
Let's just say we want to
Okay.
avoid any Imperial entanglements.
Okay.
All right. So, feeding the string of numbers into Mother, it certainly does look like galactic coordinates or network coordinates. From the standpoint of network coordinates, it actually coughs up. Um, it actually coughs up a network terminal of a travel agency in Brazil. I think Hicks and Newt kind of look at each other, and Hicks says, I'm not sure that's where we're headed. From the standpoint of galactic coordinates, however, when plugged in, it corresponds with this star system down here, which is past the American frontier, is unexplored, and is listed as the Talos star group.
Where is that in relation to the cusp of Tartarus?
It's pretty much smack dab in the middle of it.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but it's lovely down there this time of year. Absolutely lovely. The leaves will all have turned. It's beautiful. We should go there.
Yeah, Hicks is probably single-mindedly determined that that's where he wants to go. If Ripley is there, that's where he wants to head. And especially if she's in trouble or in hands of Weyland-Yutani, he owes it to her to go try to get her.
Yeah, I get that, but how does recovering Ripley relate to our broader goal of getting to the bottom of this? That's all I'm asking. I thought that Verhoeven and all of us are on the ship so that we could go to that other star system and see what was going on. How does recovering Ripley add to that? All I want to know is, if we recover Ripley, is there information she knows or has, or is there something she can do that will screw Weyland?
What's the hook, baby? What's the hook?
Well, what does Verhoeven say? I mean, at the end of the day, if he says we go, we go. If he says no, we don't. Sorry, Hicks.
Verhoeven says, according to the official record, Ellen Ripley and the SS Nostromo sat down on LV-426. They were sent, according to the unofficial record that Weyland-Yutani is buried. They were sent there upon detecting a signal that their mother system within their ship diverted them there. And Weyland-Yutani has essentially buried everything that happened, with the exception of a few details. Ripley then returned to LV-426 57 years later with our Hicks here, and they lost their entire platoon against a number of xenomorphs. Hicks says, Ripley and I escaped, and then I lost her at Anchor Point Station. I sent her out in an escape pod, and I was not able to recover her after the fact. Her escape pod crashed on Fury 161, which was a Weyland-Yutani. It was a former penal colony that had been purchased by Weyland-Yutani and turned into a lead smelting factory.
Sorry.
That's all right. We all have our 12-year-old moments. Um,
You know,
that was turned into a lead smelting facility. Um, that's the last place that we knew Ripley was. If she's in their hands, surely she has all sorts of information.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah,
and he who smelt it dealt it, by the way.
that's right. Hicks shrugs and says, "Look, it's up to Verhoeven. It's up to Mr. Verhoeven. It's up to you guys. If you don't want to head there, that's fine. That's fine. Pick a spot, drop me and Newt off. We'll figure something out."
Well, let's vote on it. I say we go get her.
I'm game.
I'll abstain.
What does Verhoeven think? Verhoeven, what do you think? Do you think that this can help us in our ultimate mission? Or is this going to sidetrack us from what we're trying to do?
He says, "As anxious as I am to visit that other star system and see what's there, I think that Ellen Ripley represents a substantial opportunity to the cause."
A vital resource. And anything we can do to put the hurt on Weyland, I'm in. Let's do it.
All right. Rose says, "So how do we treat this? Do we treat this as an armed incursion, or are we going in with guns blazing?" Or she goes, "Then again, I guess we don't really know what we're in for down there."
No, but this ship is full of long-range sensors, so we could come out of FTL some distance, and then or on the edge of the system, and then start scanning and see what we can pick up and try and figure out what's going on before we just rush in. Those coordinates give us a star system, right?
Correct.
So we don't know how many planets it has. We don't know which planet Ripley might be on. We don't know if it's a space station. We don't know details until we get there.
And the system is beyond the American frontier. It's technically an unclaimed system.
And what are we, like? Six. I'm trying to figure out where's this map I've got. There's Sol. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're like 8 or 9 parsecs.
Yeah, it's quite the distance. It's even for your. In fact, you are almost exactly 9. Even for your rather impressive FTL engines, it's almost 2 months.
Whew. A lot can happen in 2 months in the real world. All right. Let's, well, we can't just run in blind. We don't know what's going on. So I think we need my suggestion, and I'm just a glorified mechanic and a backyard engineer.
And who's bulletproof, apparently.
I lift a lot of weights.
Pecs for days.
I would say just what I said. Let's jump into the edge of the system and use our sensors to start scanning and see what we've got, and see if there's an obvious location where this Ripley might be.
All right, very good. You guys want to do your repair work on Rudy?
Yeah, if we're all in agreement, then Tansy can jump us to FTL.
Yep.
And yes, we'll have to start working on Rudy. And I'm assuming somewhere in there, I get a chance to eat and have a shit shower and a shave.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Ice cubed.
We did all our shitting back on Earth.
Well, at least you guys did.
Yeah, Bob and I. Yeah, there's a reason why we wear brown cargo pants everywhere we go. Just to conceal it from our enemies.
Bring me my brown pants. Okay.
All right. Bob, if you want to make your Comtech roll, and Dwayne, if
Right,
you want to make your.
Please make sure my face is pointed forwards when you reattach my head, okay?
I'm assuming +2 for SSSD and +1 for somebody helping me.
Yeah, we can have Mitchell help you. Yep, that's fine.
I forgot about the other doc.
Yeah, he's floating around somewhere. So yeah, 2 successes on the Comtech roll. That does give you a stunt. I don't know what stunt you want to use in this situation.
Don't need to overcome this again.
Yeah, you can do that. So the next time you have to do a Comtech repair work on Rudy, it'll be free. That's fine.
And next time the droid loses its head, I'm just gonna think done.
Sometimes I wonder why I've got you down as my buddy.
Yeah, you guys spend some time. Dwayne reconnects the doohickey to the thingamabob with a cotter pin and some duct tape, and maybe there's some welding
Saliva.
involved. Yeah, exactly. A stick of gum and a paper clip. But no, you guys get Rudy's head and her joints in her neck put back together, so everything's good.
Thank
to
you,
go
man.
There.
What do I do with these health points that I have off? Does that heal any, or?
Oh yeah, your health points come back automatically.
Okay.
And
once we're done, I'll just look at Rudy and go, "Good to get you back into service," and then I'll take her hand with one of my hands and just slap down a random nut in the other hand and go, "This was left over. I'm not sure where."
She will take them and display them proudly in her locker.
That's,
Thanks for helping me get ahead, guys.
Oh,
Yeah, saw that coming.
Those are in the automotive world, leftover nuts and bolts. We call them shoulder screws. Because
really,
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You take this apart and then you put it back together, and you got 2 screws left over.
You throw them over.
Just chuck them over your shoulder.
I get it now. I get it.
Car manufacturers, they put way too many nuts and bolts in their cars. I'm sure you don't need those. All right. So, in addition, obviously, normal ship-wide maintenance gets done. Yeah, Rudy, your BSOD error is definitely active. Once in a while, you get one of these. This error comes through, and next thing you know, you wake up and it's 10 minutes later. It probably happened once while they were working on you.
I think I will ask Apollo to help me see if he can isolate where the error is and if it can be fixed, because that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. So we'll have Apollo make a...
And if it's a memory error, maybe you can bypass it.
Yeah. Apollo's
remove those memory locations from your FAT table.
Yeah, Apollo. No, Apollo doesn't get it. It's designed to run the environmental on a starship, not fix wayward androids.
What about this other? What's her name again? Katori Khan or whatever. Does she? She helped me with my arm. Does she know anything about this kind of stuff?
That's a really good question. I think
Yeah. Khan Atori helped him.
Khan!
There it is. Had to happen, didn't it?
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me today, but everything's a dad joke.
That's right. I think this is probably more up. Rose Whitehill's. I think this is more her thing. Where is Rose's character sheet? Where is Rose's character sheet?
I don't know. You're the GM.
I know, and I wouldn't be the GM if I didn't lose something at some point over the course of a game. But oddly enough, I can't seem to find her at all. I know she's here because we've used her. Did I put it in the wrong? Oh, there it is. It's in the wrong folder. Okay. And that's a flaw I found in Roll20. I tried to move, not a flaw, but a shortcoming. I tried to move an enemy character sheet up to a more recent scenario just so I had easy access to it. And you can't do that. Once it's in a folder, it's in a folder. So you'd have to make a new one. It's a real pain in the ass. Rose, oh, look at that. So, Rose probably asked you if she can jack in and take a look. And
there's jokes. Just the jokes are just everywhere this morning. She's gonna jack in, but she's gonna jack off.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's a no-no.
She after plugging in and scanning through, she says she comes back and says, "Yeah, it's a fatal error. You can operate this way for a long, long time. There's no doubt, but in the end, there's only one way to fix it, and that you would have to you'd have to reset yourself to factory specs."
Well, nobody lives forever, but my concern is to not let the crew down. So is there a way for me to manage this? Like, can I manually turn myself off to prevent it from happening outside of my control? If the captain's not reliable, then the captain has to go.
Yeah, you could do that. The way the fatal error works, it is going to require you to shut down for 10 minutes every 6 hours or so. So you can manage this. However, if you're in a situation where you haven't been able to do so, it's going to do it at some unknown point.
All right, well, that's good to know. So it's going to get worse over years, but for now, 4 times a day, I just have to shut down for a certain amount of time.
Yep. That's
all right. Well, I'm going to let the crew know because there's no point in trying to be secret about it. I'm going to close my eyes for 10 minutes every once in a while.
All right.
To keep it from happening in the middle of a gunfight.
Yep. That will work. All right. All right, Cat, go on. Get out of here. Sorry, I'm getting... Oh, and I did just get a text message so you guys know I will have to go off in an hour because I've got a phone call coming in I have to take.
Okay.
Roger.
So,
thanks for telling us.
Yep. Insurance company. Someone hit my wife's van in a parking lot. So... got to get that resolved. All right. We're all right. So you're in FTL. Obviously, Jake has to stay out of cryo for 2 days to rest and recuperate, yes. Which is fine because with your FTL rating, you can stay up for up to 6 days without any problem. So I just to move it along, I suppose that after Jake is healed and has the use of his arm back, you guys at that point are going to jump into cryo and head on to the Talos star system in the Tartarus cusp. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what else we'll do except sit around and look at each other.
All right. So...
which is what I do when you guys go into cryo, by the way.
That's creepy. You stare at us.
Yeah, for like days at a time. I'll just stand above you and just
terrifying.
Like 9 days straight.
Based on the
every
number,
minute.
based on the number of cryo tubes available, I think that Hicks probably goes into the temporary cryotubes, the mobile ones that are in your cargo bay, so that he's with the other SSI guys, leaving
Okay.
Verhoeven and Rose and Khan to use the permanent ones in your cryo bay. Assuming Rudy's not going into cryo, that leaves 3 available in your cryo bay.
What about Newt? Temporary?
Yeah. She's gonna have to.
Gotta step away for a minute, guys. Give the
But
dog his meds. Be right
she'll
back.
feel more comfortable hanging close to Hicks, right?
Yeah. So that would work. And that actually, it's actually interesting because that actually puts it in a situation where Rudy really has to stay out of cryo because otherwise you don't have enough tubes. Um, so that's interesting.
Funny how that worked out.
Yeah. No, it's almost like it was planned. So the ship comes out of the ship comes out of FTL, and Rudy spends almost 2 months by herself. I don't know what she does to occupy her time. Well, I guess she's giving the dog meds right now, so that's fine. But as the cryo tubes open and you all wake up, it's everybody's getting up and moving. Rudy probably heads down after getting you guys uh, open and up and moving. She probably heads down to the cargo bay to make sure Hicks and his crew are up.
And obviously, since Rudy's been up the whole time, Rudy would know if we're where we're supposed to be.
Correct. And nothing untoward happened. Everything went right according to plan. And we're going to need to do some maintenance rolls, I think. But as Verhoeven, maybe he looks like he's in his 70s, but he's still a pretty impressive individual in terms of his musculature and that type of thing. But as he sits up out of cryo, he is just racked with coughs. And he's coughing into his elbow, and after a few minutes he pulls his arm away, and there's just spatters of blood on the inside of his elbow. There's blood on his chin. Khan comes over to him, and he just kind of looks at her and shakes his head, and she stands up and looks around. I think she probably looks at you, Dwayne, because you're the most physical of everybody in the cryo deck, and says, "Can you help me get him to medical?"
Sure.
And he starts to protest, and she shuts it down. She says, "No, you're going to medical right now." So why don't we do this? Why don't we flip over to the ship view, because that's where everybody is anyway. Everybody's on the ship, right? So let's see here.
Medical is number 8.
Number 8. So we're going to drag Mr. Dunning, and we're going to drag Verhoeven. And I don't have an emblem for Katori Khan, but that's okay. I probably should fix that. And I think Rose is pretty concerned. I think she would go with you guys. Jake, what are you up to?
I think Jake will just do a very slow wake up and then grab some coffee and just go and look at some stuff in the lab.
All right.
Well, I have a question. Because of Jake's superior comtech, is Jake usually the one who runs our sensors on the ship? We scan planets and stuff?
Jake or Andy's character, yeah.
All right, well, I would think one of those guys should get the scanners going and see what's in this system. It's just my suggestion as I as I try and lug Verhoeven to medical.
I can have Roman go to the bridge and do that, or if you want to do it, Jake, it's up to you.
Yep, Jake will do it when somebody reminds him to do it.
All right. Rudy, I don't know if you probably missed that. Verhoeven is in really bad shape. He's coughing up blood and stuff. Dwayne has helped Verhoeven to medical with Dr. Khan and Rose Whitehill. What do you want to do? The ship is out
Have
of.
I forgotten that he has a medical condition? I don't remember him having that.
Yeah, he was looking rough the last time we came out of FTO.
Do we remember why? What happened?
No,
It
not
might be just-
specifically.
Yeah, we don't know specifically, but it might be just because he's old.
Or somebody pumped him up?
Oh my God.
Jeez.
I'm so sorry. You guys should jettison me now.
That's right. What are you doing, Rudy?
Anyway, I don't know if you heard, but I've got his arm over my shoulder, letting him put his weight on me and taking him to medical. But I did suggest to Jake that here Andy go start the scans of the system while we attend to Verhoeven.
Well, it sounds like, first of all, I know there's better medical people on board than me, so I won't be able to really contribute that much in that regard. And it sounds like you have enough people already, so I will assist the good doctors in doing what we are actually commissioned to do, which is science, research, and exploration.
So you're off to the
This
bridge.
sector. I'm off to the bridge. That's right.
I'm going to have Dr. Roman do the Comtech maintenance on the ship, since that takes a shift of work anyway. Oh shit! He failed. Look at that.
Holy mackerel!
That's
He
the
can
first
push.
time in this entire.
Well, he's an NPC. He can't push.
It's the first time ever. Oh boy.
Let's send him a text right now and go, thanks for dropping the ball, man.
Yeah, that's right. Do you have any idea what you just did to us?
Thanks. We missed that gaping black hole. Flew right into it.
All right.
Remember the old days, Jake, when we used to just fly around and explore stuff and nobody was shooting at us? And
So that was the maintenance on the computer systems and stuff, right?
It was.
So what's the implication of failing?
Well, the implication of failing is that the ship suffers component damage. Something is not working properly. Would someone please roll a D66 for me?
Well, guys, who's going to do it?
Go for it.
it's too much pressure for me. Yeah, you're right.
So that's basically 2d6, right? Or no, d6.
Yeah, the
There's a
D66 on your character sheet.
Oh, on my character sheet. I got to open my sheet. It's a crock of sheet. All right.
Nice.
D66.
A 44.
That's a little high. It's not going to be great.
Oh, she's
BSOD error.
Roman, Dr. Mitchell Roman has found there's a stack overflow error throughout the ship's entire system. Piloting, ranged combat, and comtech roles on the ship have a -1 modification until it is repaired. Repairing it requires a comtech roll, a shift of work, and an electronic component, which you guys don't have any of those.
Wow.
So, electronic components are a how should I put it? Electronic components are a generalized consumable item that you use to repair electronic parts of the ship. They cost $250,000 a piece,
Wow.
and you can buy them at most mid-size
Radio
or larger
Shacks.
colony. Yeah, a tiny backwater colony with 100 people probably wouldn't have any to spare, but any good-sized colony would. The problem is, right now you're not anywhere near a good-sized colony. Now, that being said, everything still functions. It just you've got a gremlin running around in the system, screwing things up a little bit. So keep that in mind.
So like our sensor scans will be at -1.
Yep, it will be. Which you get to +2 because of the enhanced sensors. So it's not the biggest penalty, but it is there.
Okay.
So before Dwayne, because Dwayne, you got to do your heavy machinery maintenance roll first. But before you do that,
On what, the ship?
Yeah.
I got a success banked on that.
Oh, okay. Well, then that solves that.
Just use it.
Oh, and that's fine. And a couple things. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but since the gang's all here anyway, I had made the comment that observation stunts really didn't seem always helpful.
Yes.
So I'm just going to put the house rule in that if you have stunts on observation and none of the questions really do you any good, I'll just let you bank a +1 die on your next roll.
Okay.
Just that way it doesn't feel like it's lost. Because sometimes those stunts really don't matter for the situation. In medical, Khan does she does an exam on Verhoeven, and
Is her exam as good or better than the autodoc exam?
yeah,
Okay.
she's definitely better than the auto doc.
Just wondered.
She has 9 dice in
Oh.
medical aid. She she's looking over him, and she looks at him. She looks over at you, Dwayne. Then she looks back at Verhoeven and says, and he says, "Well, out with it." She says, "Do you want me to speak in front of Mr. Dunning here?"
Well, if you want me to go, I'll go. This is private. This is your thing.
Verhoeven just shrugs. Uh, he just says, "Tell me what I already know." And she says, "You're not far from organ failure. Your liver, your kidneys. Uh, you're going for now, but many more stays in cryo, and you're not going to make it." And he kind of shrugs at her and says, "Well, I've made it more than 200 years. That's a lot longer than most people. But we've got to see this through. So just keep me on my feet." And he says, "You have X-Stims." She goes, "I don't want to use those till we have to." He says, "All right. Well, if we have to, I expect you to shoot me up." And she says, "I really am resisting that." He says, "I know, but I'm in charge." She kind of sighs and turns away from him. He slides off the exam table, puts his feet down on the floor, and just kind of he's holding on to the table for a moment, and he lets go, and he looks at you, Dwayne, and it looks at Rose. Rose looks noticeably concerned. She hasn't said anything, but she's kind of got a wide-eyed look. Uh, he says, I'm fine. Let's go to the bridge."
You sure? You need a hand, or you can do it yourself?
He says, "No, I've got it. I'm all right." And he just heads straight for the door and heads out.
Okay.
Rose kind of looks at you and just softly says, "Thank you," and turns and follows him. Heads out after him. So they head their way to the bridge.
The bridge is getting pretty crowded.
It's a decent sized room. You head over to engineering to do your maintenance, which
Yeah.
you have for free, so that's
Right.
fine. And then Jake, after getting your coffee and checking out the lab, making sure everything's good, you head over to the bridge to start scanning.
Indeed.
All right, very good. We'll put you there. Tansy, as you're walking in, Tansy makes the comment that the ship's controls are running kind of sluggish. She can manage it, but it's something to keep an eye on. And Dr. Mitchell Roman pipes up, well, that's because of what we've got going on in the electronics right now. Apollo's got a bug. We got to get that fixed.
So Apollo has a bug, the ship has a bug, I have a bug, and Verhoeven has a bug.
Yeah. And not to mention Andy. Andy's got a bug, which is
Andy's got
currently
a
at
bug.
bay. Yeah. It's almost like you're all slowly dying.
Yeah, everybody's bugging out, man.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
That was a groan-worthy moment. Absolutely. All right, very good. Jake, if you would like to make your Comtech roll to start scanning the system, you're at +2 and -1, so a total of +1. All right, 2 successes. So, scanning the system, the Talos system is a binary star system. There are a total of 11 planets. Not too dissimilar to many other systems that you have seen in general. The first 4 or so are terrestrial, and they are very, very close to the binary suns. Have very, very high temperatures. And then the as you move further out, there's a mix of gas giants as well as terrestrial planets. Um, a variety of moons, that type of thing. You have a stunt. So what would you like to do with that?
More / unexpected information.
Yeah. As if I couldn't have figured that was what you were going to say. I was really hoping you were going to say, "I'll take a +1 to a future Comtech roll," but as you're scanning, and this, a system survey takes a long time. It takes a full shift worth of work. So it's not a quick process, but as you're scanning, there are really no planets that at first look are really terrestrial or not terrestrial. There's several that are terrestrial, but none that are really life supporting, except the 4th planet. The 4th planet is in a bizarre synchronous orbit with the twin suns, such that the way it rotates, or the way it revolves combined with its rotation, 1/3 of the planet is always night. It never faces the sun. The planet has a mean temperature, or not a mean temperature, but at first glance, at first glance, the mean temperature of that planet is about 90 degrees Celsius. Very, very hot. Certainly not what you would consider a life-supporting planet, except in those dark areas, especially where it never sees the sun ever. It is much lower. It's still warm. It's about 50 degrees Celsius. It's still on the warm side, but it's definitely within the life-supporting range. And that is really the only planet in the entire system the only place in the entire system that will support life without additional gear. Several of like planet number 5, for example, is terrestrial and is in the proper zone from a temperature standpoint. However, it has a highly acidic atmosphere. So that's your new and unexpected information.
But I will, of course, pass it on to the rest, and I guess just discuss with the techies how close in system we can get without triggering any alerts, and how silent can we run.
Well, as far as in-game universe knowledge that you guys would have, your ship does not have stealth technology. However, you can turn your beacon off, which makes
Yeah,
it a lot harder to detect.
I was thinking like switch off the beacon. If we can shut down the engine so we coast in only passive scanners for now, and just make sure that we can pick up if and when something actually scans us. And once we get to a place where we want to be, just full stop and then do some scans, slowly picking up the pace.
Yeah, that can be done if that's what you guys want to do. Absolutely. So in that case, to deactivate the beacon would be a simple comtech roll from somebody, and then I would make your pilot make a piloting roll to handle making sure she sets the correct course to coast you guys in.
So I'll deactivate beacon with SSSD and hopefully somebody's help. So +3.
Yeah, +3 and then -1 because
I'll
of
help.
all your electronics are messed up. Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that. Okay. You got some stunts there. Oh my god. Your NPCs are not having a good time of it. Um,
Comtech don't need to overcome this again.
okay, very good. And you have one more stun as well.
New and unexpected information.
Oh, that's interesting. Um, that's very interesting. Um, okay. And this may preclude the need for the piloting role anyway. As you're going into the system to turn off the beacon, your ship's beacon, which identifies who you are. It dawns on you that having entered the system, if there is a colony or space station or anything in this system which you've not picked up at this point based on your long range survey, they should have already picked up your beacon. Because after all, the survey takes 6 hours, and that should have been plenty of time for a sensor to hit your ship and return back the information. And as you start to look into it, your beacon has not been pinged at this point.
I'll relay that to the rest. Well, nobody scanned us yet, and nobody's pinged our beacon for information yet. So either they're not an official colony, or they're not here. But yeah, I guess status quo. Because if they're running silent,
or they're hiding, right?
Yeah, we want to go in even more quiet.
All right. Well, Tansy, amazingly, with all those dice, failed her piloting roll. So she's able to move the ship further in system, but in the end, I guess she miscalculated. She was not able to steer the ship in such that you guys could get to the point where passive systems could pick some stuff up. Um, so she, eventually gets to the point where she says, "Look, if you want to get any closer, to that spot on Talos 4, we're gonna have to turn the engines on so that I can bring her in." At this point, now, of course, you're running without a beacon, but at this point, Apollo's not announcing that you guys have been hit by any scanners or anything along those lines. Of course, Apollo's not running at full efficiency either. She says, "So, Captain Rudy, do you want me to turn the engines back on to guide us in? What do you want me to do?"
I think so.
All right. All right. So you guys are moving in onto Talos 4. And then let me do this. Where's Apollo? There's Apollo. I don't know why. So what I'm going to do, because for some reason Roll20 is not always subtracting off the dice. If there's dice that need to come off, yeah, I'll just pull it off the end of the roll. Okay, well, see, on Apollo, it's letting me input the modifier, so I don't know why it's not on every character sheet. Oh, Apollo's clueless. All right, so you guys have moved in. She says, "Captain, do you want a geosynchronous orbit over the dark side of Talos 4?"
Yes, please.
All right, so she puts you guys in orbit. I'm not going to make her roll for that because you're under engine power. She says, "All right, well, we're here."
I will call Hicks to the bridge.
All right. So Hicks, where is Hicks? Where's Hicks? He's here somewhere. There he is. Bridge is getting crowded.
Well, and I don't want to be left out.
So yeah, Hicks, and I'm sure he's got Newt in tow. But
everybody's on the bridge.
Well, it's the happening place to be. So Verhoeven, of course, has been there the whole time. Hicks shows up with Newt, and I guess the Hicks, when Hicks comes to the bridge, he says, "Hold on one second, I'm sorry. I had to cough. Dry air here is killing me." As Hicks comes to the bridge, he says to Verhoeven, "So what have they found?" Verhoeven says, "Well, we haven't found much yet. But if there's an outpost or a colony here," and he points over at the ship's glass. He says, "If there's an outpost or a colony here, it's somewhere on this planet." Hicks says, "So have we scanned to locate it yet?"
Well, we just scanned the system. We haven't done another scan since we hit orbit, so that's still on the to-do list.
It's looking like she doesn't want to be found, so if you have like the high sign, you want to broadcast something, may not be a bad idea. Let her know that we're friends.
Hicks says, "Well, we can try that." And Newt says, "Well, I found this in the Weyland-Yutani system. I mean, Weyland-Yutani's network. What if she's in the hands of Weyland-Yutani? If they have a facility down there, do we want to broadcast that?"
Let's hold off broadcasting till we finish our scans. Then I thought that was the kind of thing we could have been able to detect on our approach, but I guess not.
Well, no one actively scanned. So,
Okay. Well,
Jake,
let's do that.
if Jake wants to make a scan roll, -1 because the ship is being difficult, but you get +2 for the sensors, so whatever. Is it opening the modifier box for you, Bob, when you roll?
Yep.
Huh. Why is it doing it for some people and not others? It's so strange. There's got to be a toggle switch somewhere. 2 dice. All right, 2 successes. So very good. You, as you start to scan, you definitely there's definitely a colony or an outpost or a facility down there. Again, it's warm, but it's within tolerance. Seems breathable. Atmosphere is breathable, but there's a lot of heavy particulates in the atmosphere. You might not want to breathe it long without a rebreather or a suit or something along those lines. But you're definitely picking up an active fusion reactor, as well as enough metallic mass to account for a multi-structure colony or outpost. Um, there is no colony beacon, or anything like that is active. But the fusion reactor is active, so it's safe to assume that there's power. And if there's anyone down there with you actively scanning, you would assume they would have recognized that you've scanned them. But
Well, let's actually. So I had 2 successes. So
yes,
my second success for a change, I'll actually use
cover your tracks.
hide the track. So do the scan in such a way that it just looks natural or semi-natural, or just they don't know where it comes from, that kind of thing.
Very good. That works for me. That is perfect. So Hicks looks across everybody, looks at Rudy, and says, "Well, Captain, it's your ship. Do we just take her down, or?"
Well, it's our ship, for one thing. But for another, yeah, I don't think we have much choice. If you want to know what's down there, we're going to have to go and take a look.
All right. All right. Well, then we'll have Tansy make a piloting roll. Does anybody have piloting?
I do.
All right. Would you like to assist to offset her -1?
I think that's a great idea.
All right. Very good. And where's piloting? Under agility. Oh, wow. Wow. No problems that time. All right, so she brings the ship down, sets her coordinates the uh, the colony or outpost that you guys are picking up. She probably brings the ship around in orbit around the planet a good ways so that she can select her window and the proper angle of descent and whatnot. And it's it's definitely a choppy atmosphere that you guys are going through. It's very stormy, and you can understand why the sensors were picking up a lot of heavy elements. There's just a lot of dust and debris even high up in the atmosphere. It's a very almost primordial terrestrial planet. As you're starting to break through the upper cloud cover and storms, and you're crossing into the nighttime side of the planet, it's there's not much to see. It's mostly flat, just barren rock and sand. There's no vegetation here.
Well, you wouldn't expect it with no sunlight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a true statement.
So that would say that on the hot side, I was in engineering, so maybe I should have this conversation with Jake because Jake did the sensors. But it would seem to me that on the hot side, the sun bakes everything, so it's dry, and on the dark side, there's no sunlight for anything to grow. So it would seem like if there's vegetation, it will grow on the edge between the light and dark, the terminator between light and darkness, all the way around the planet, right?
Right. So she, unless you guys want her to do otherwise, or I think she probably looks at Captain Rudy and says, "Rudy, Captain, would you? We're coming up on it. There's no landing beacon of any kind. Do you want me to do a flyby?"
Yep. Let's try to get as much info from as far away as possible.
All right. So
What's the atmosphere?
it's oxygen, but it's full of heavy elements.
Not something we really want to breathe.
Not for very long, for sure.
It's going to be spacesuits mandatory kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you guys this map just because you did a flyby, and if you've seen this map in the past, I do apologize. I needed something quick, so I stole it from the CMON book. And obviously it was a quick and dirty because I've got some stuff that's just been erased out. But this is the facility you see as you fly overhead, and she kind of dips the wings to give you a rounded look through the viewport so that you can see what you're looking at. There's quite a few buildings here, and the entire place is wrapped with a 10-meter plastisteel perimeter wall. You see
10 meters.
Yeah.
Wow, it's 33 feet. That's tall.
You see blinking lights. You see some exterior lights. They have power. You definitely recognize the fusion reactors, which are this side. Of course, you don't know at a glance what any of the other buildings are, especially up in the air at a distance.
If you ping the map, I missed it. Where did you say they were? Is that number 3? Okay.
Yeah. There is. It looks like the perimeter wall is unbroken except for 2 points, which look like they're probably guardhouses or something along those lines. And there is a paved road that leads from the northwest as well as the southeast. There are 2 landing pads. Both of them are large enough to support an M-size ship, and neither of them have ships on them. They're completely
Which ones
empty.
are the landing pads?
They're not on the map. They're
outside the fence.
Yeah, they're outside the fence. They're both about a kilometer away from the fence.
Did we see any vehicles parked outside the buildings inside the fence?
No.
What does this architecture say about, who might have built this? Does this look like a Weyland-Yutani facility?
Yeah, I would certainly say you're too far away to see any emblems or anything along those lines, but it definitely looks like Weyland-Yutani standard construction. Weyland-Yutani, they're masters at putting up outposts and colonies, quick prefab stuff. They can build a colony on a planet in a matter of weeks, just with all pre-made prefab stuff that they put together on site.
Seems like they put them up fast and lose them fast too.
It definitely screams Weyland-Yutani prefab outpost.
But there's no sign of habitation so far.
Now you can make an observation roll if you like while you're looking out the window. Nope. Unless you want to push the roll.
Sure.
Not really. The place seems pretty empty. You're a good ways up, and as you're banking around, you thought for a moment you saw some movement, but there's a lot of heavy winds and dust blowing around, so it might have been, and it's also pretty dark down there, so it might have been Might have been an optical illusion.
Well, there's no obvious signs of life, but let's just assume it's. Let's just assume there's hostiles down there, so we're prepared. Tansy, why don't you set us down?
All right. She says, "Do you want the captain? You want the western pad or the eastern pad?"
I think I'm sort of making up in my head where that is, but is the eastern pad near buildings 9 and 8 and 6?
Yeah, the eastern pad is off at that road, off
Okay.
that road down there. Western pad's off that road up there.
What is that? Is this like a lake inside the walls?
Oh, we're at right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just ignore that.
Okay, sorry. All right.
Nondescript map feature that doesn't apply.
Well, unless anybody else has any feedback, I would say the east one. I don't think it matters a whole lot, but it looks like we're closer to the big buildings.
All right. All right, so yeah, she sets you down. Like I said, the pad's about 1 kilometer away. Oh, I didn't. Did I? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. She sets you down quite easily. Like the pro she is. Wind and dust buffets the glass of the cockpit. And she says, "All right, well, we're here." Verhoeven looks at Hicks and says, "I think this is your show. I think you need to take security personnel with you, but and then he looks over at Rudy, and he looks at the rest of you guys and goes, but you guys, your skills, who knows what kind of help he's going to need out there."
I just want to remind you that about 40 minutes ago you said that you had an hour left to play, so I don't know if this makes sense to stop here.
It probably does, to be honest about it. It's probably a good spot before we get into anything else.
Yeah.
Especially if Jim's going to jump on board, because he might be able to help us make decisions about, how to proceed.
So yeah, that'll be fine. We can end it here and come back next week. Same ugly time, same ugly place.
Okay.
Sharif, you wanna fill Jim in on everything that happened?
Of course, no problem.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for playing, guys. I'm sorry it was a short session, but
It was a fun session.
Good luck with your insurance.
oh,
Yes.
yeah, thanks. I'm excited.
Quite enjoyable. Bob and I barely made it out, and that is fun, always fun.
But you made it out.
But we made it out, baby.
I don't know quite how, but you did.
Dwayne's only regret is that one of the way you guys got away at the ranch.
Man, he has slid into the dark side at light speed, hasn't he? Remember when he was all concerned about people? Now he's like,
he is, except unless they work for
Wayu.
Unless they work for Wayu.
Kind of makes sense, though. I mean, they're literally trying to destroy everything. So,
All right, guys.
All in the name of profit.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. Everybody loves that.
That's right. All right, cool. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you again. This is, as always.
Ciao.